It sounds paradoxical, but is proven by experience. Especially hard times offer particularly great opportunities for spiritual ascent. Let the straitened times also be blessed. Precisely at such times do we learn to distinguish the significant from the mediocre. In the days of contentment, our vigilance becomes obscured. Hence, oppression and tension are so precious. They not only increase vigilance and impetuosity, they also force new fires from our inmost depths. Thus let us grow to love the unexpected as the source of new joy. Let us keep in mind that the most difficult hour can be the threshold of new achievement. In his book on Providence, Seneca advises the strong one to ask for a hard fate, because that is the only way he can prove his value. The reason for this is the commitment to high ideals is only one side of the coin. The crucial progress is their realization in earthly life. For this, difficult conditions offer the best opportunities. The more adverse the circumstances, the greater the achievement of the one who overcomes them. Therefore, if you want to show what lies hidden within you, you will be asking for great difficulties. Again, people will approach with the question as to how to deal with obstacles. Some are handicapped by family, some by distasteful occupation, some by poverty, some by attacks of enemies. But a good horseman likes to practice upon untrained horses and prefers the obstacle of rough ground and ditches to a level roadway. To the strong spirit, the difficult time shows the shortest path. Let us welcome all the difficulties. We had already talked about the example of Plato, being one of the greatest thinkers in human history. He nevertheless welcomed being sold into slavery, because by this terrible test he was able to accelerate his ascent even further. The teacher, Plato, allowed himself to be sold into slavery so that his earthly path might be fulfilled as quickly as possible. He knew and profoundly felt all earthly hardships in full measure and succeeded in gathering vast experience during his life on earth. Thus, we should be grateful for today's particularly grave and spiritually hostile times, because they offer us better opportunities to rise than calmer epochs. Yes, just hearken. You, whose karma has brought you into the thick of the fight of the 19th and 20th centuries, and has given you opportunities for advancement spiritually, mentally, and physically far beyond those given to any race. Not a day passes over your heads which does not bring to you tests and opportunities which, if taken advantage of, may place you far on the path leading to adeptship. We can even go so far as to say, the worse, the better. The more attacks there are, the more possibilities approach. It may be noticed that sometimes especially large upheavals have a far less destructive effect on the organism than small ones. The reason is that during the large upheavals, psychic energy begins to act in a special manner, manifesting a powerful protection. During small agitations, the protection may not be so strong. Long ago it was said that through great upheavals the spirit grows strong and the consciousness is purified. But in such processes the primary energy will be the principal factor. Therefore, let us not be distressed if it be brought into action in one particular way. It is far worse when something petty undermines the organism and the salutary force is inactive. Such a situation must be recognized, otherwise people will begin to strive for the small and will be content with the mediocre. The store of psychic energy must be supplemented. Without pressure, it does not receive the higher help. Even the enigmatic saying, the worse, the better, has a certain foundation. In fact, the heavier the load, the shorter the path. Let us be ready to take any burden, remembering that the heavier the burden, the shorter will be our path. Inevitably, your striving will encounter resistance. This is already taught by physics. When a large ship increases its speed, the resistance of the waves increases too. Similarly, many obstacles are brought about by our own striving. An abutment of a bridge is far more assailed by the waves than is a swamp. The sand of the swamp does not undergo as much from the movement of the water as does the pier standing firm against the current. He who strives forward must face the storm. There are few who would stand in a downpour of rain or pelting hail, even for the sake of hastening their progress. Who or what causes this resistance? The forces of darkness. Who else? When you enter the spiritual path, you may be sure, with all their means, they will throw obstacles on your way. One should not forget how many stones are cast upon the path of ascent. A man who assents feels much more deeply the assault of the unbridled elements. This is not an old wife's tale about the devil and his comrades. This is an experience based on facts. Constructive striving always evokes opposition. Hence, there are such battles under our shield. According to the law of correspondence, your pursuit of good will attract evil forces as well. Just as a galloping horse raises a cloud of dust, the magnet of psychic energy stirs up a whirlpool of chaos. Every evolutionary step evokes the fury of chaos. The higher you climb, the stronger this resistance will become. The brighter the light, the denser the darkness. With gradual ascent, the ferocity of the attacks will increase. When a definite cosmic possibility is affirmed, all obstacles are intensified. Space then resounds with the tension of cosmic fires, and the dark forces are very taut. Consequently, decisive battles take place. You cannot imagine all this lively enough. You are actually being attacked for the purpose of hurting or even destroying you. The higher the personage, the more spiritually inclined the individual, the greater the glee on the part of the disintegrator, if indention or cleavage can be made upon the aura. The onslaught of the dark forces is actually the best proof for your being on a high, bright path. The higher you ascend, the more dangerous you become for the sinister side. The greatest manifestations are especially bespattered with refuse. Persecution, slander, and obstacles grow in proportion with progress. Thus, if your intention is firm, be prepared for tests. Every worker for good is attacked by the dark forces. They should understand that it was their very presence that provoked chaos. A strong individual will recognize that it is preferable to arouse chaos than to allow himself to become part of the unmanifested substance. The fury of chaos is the highest recognition of the worker. When you do not meet any resistance or enemies, you are probably on a humble path only. It is a sad situation if one is not subjected to attacks. This means that one's energy is in a very weak state and does not provoke any counteractions. Only the unenlightened consider attacks as misfortune. When On the contrary, destiny puts major obstacles in your way. It certainly has big plans for you. The growth of obstacles is the best indicator of the greatness of the task. When you rest firmly and securely within yourself and in the order of cosmos, when you are on the right track and know your destination, when you are selflessly serving to promote the truth and the good, then, but only then, obstacles can but work to increase the power of your spirit. He who carries the knowledge of the future can walk boldly even upon shaky stones. When the step is firm, the counter forces are beneficial. The difficulties and struggles of life steel the forces of your spirit. It is correct that the spirit can be tempered only in life. The overcoming of life's difficulties will bring the spirit its spark. A sword is tempered with fire and cold water. Likewise, the spirit will be strengthened in the fire of exaltation and under the cold of defamations and ingratitude. One's weapon is sharpened by battle, otherwise it will become rusty. Agni Yoga chooses a most impressive picture. The forging of a sword in the flame under the blow of a hammer is the best illustration of how one tempers one's psychic energy. If you just stand firm and do not deviate from the path, you can but grow on obstacles. Swimmers, if you do everything possible within your strength, whither can the most destructive wave carry you? It can only bear you upwards. Despair is destructive, but the extreme limit of tension is constructive. Already the ancient Romans proclaimed ex adversis rebus fortior resurgo. From adverse circumstances I emerge stronger. For a strong spirit, there is no difficulty that could not be overcome. The obstacles of life cannot influence the quality of aspiration. This is the liberty of a yogi. Nothing can hinder his progress. There is no obstacle that cannot be overcome by the human will. I do not say this as a consolation or for encouragement, but as an immutable fact. But there are problems which I am unable to solve. Certainly, but as long as you are walking the spiritual path unwaveringly, your eternal individuality will grow, even if your perishable personality fails on the material plane. Man can overcome all hindrances if the goal of his journey is clear to him. When he sees the light in the distance, he will pay no attention to the hardships of the journey. He will not count the steps to this light, for it shines also in his heart. He who wishes to live, lives. Amazing is the ability to withstand danger when the meaning of life is clear. A wealth of examples from history shows that the character, power, and greatness of a human being develop exactly by overcoming difficulties.